and welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, this time around in English as you may already have noticed, and today we are going to have a look at 3 different games again, which will be Save Planet Cube, Maze King and Phys 2. My name is Jared, and as always I've got a couple of different things with me, which are of course Arc Mouse, you already know about that. I'm going to use the Foldable keyboard, same stands for that more or less. And there could be the Xbox One S wireless controller, but we are not going to use it in this episode because there's no game that is really supporting it in a meaningful way. So this one will stay at the side. Okay, and other than that, of course, everything is again handled by the Lumia 950 XL, which is a smartphone with Windows 10 Mobile on it. And this Windows 10 Mobile smartphone is, it's covered with a Mozo cover at the back here, of course. And it has a USB-C connector and is of course Continuum enabled. And like that, we can reconnect that with the display dock at the side here, which is more or less a USB-C hub. And the USB-C hub itself is connected to the TV, and like that we can more or less project this desktop-like experience from the smartphone. So the smartphone is going to create that experience for us to the display, and in this case a TV. And like that we can, for instance, use the mouse and the different other interactive methods we have there, so this one and of course the Foldable keyboard and stuff like that, with the smartphone directly, because it's going to be a Bluetooth connection in this case. And then we can just control everything by that. If you want to know more about all of this, please have a look at the corner up there. There are a couple of different other videos where I'm going to talk about it in a more in-depth way. And other than that, let's start with the first game, I would say. So, the first game is called Save Planet Cube. And it's a little bit cute to call it that, because the Planet Cube is more or less a magic cube or something like that. Not exactly, because you're not going to turn this different sides or something in this game, but what is going to happen is you have to find different kind of ways between different kind of colors, more or less, and you will have to connect everything together. And if you did that in a meaningful and good way, then you are going to have won this game. As you can see, this is going to be the playground, more or less, and as you can see, all the different colors here are available and should be connected to each other. This game, however, was absolutely designed. I'm going to turn down the music here a little bit. Thank you. This game was absolutely designed for being played with the fingers and touch display. So it's a little bit bad to control with only the mouse. I'm going to show you why and how you can overcome that. So I'm going to turn around just to be able to play this in a better way and see what is going on and stuff like that. So let's do that first. And as you can see, the cube is more or less following my mouse. And this is where the trouble lies, more or less. As you can see, it's fine that it is like that, but the problem is I'm not going to press anything, and still the cube is going to move around. So we can't really press one of the buttons or one of the other colored cubes, because what you have to do is now you have to more or less get this cube connected with another cube. And the moment I'm going to move my mouse, it's going to be unselectable for me anymore. And there's no way with the mouse itself to get rid of that. So for instance, it could have been implemented by, for instance, clicking the right button or something, and then you can select something. Or for instance, by only clicking the right button, the cube is going to follow you or something. But that's, too bad. Too long for me. Took too long. But in the end, that's a problem, and what you can do, it's a little bit of a hack more or less, but whatever. If you, for instance, want to connect the blue ones here, just press your Windows key on your keyboard, and then you can move your mouse freely. The problem, or there's a little bit of a problem, because there's going to be the status bar at the bottom there. If I click now, you can see it's going to switch off the position a little bit. So if you want to play this game, you really have to do this workaround, go like that, then just press and hold the button, and if you do that, and drag it down, then it's going to work fine and as it should be. So all the time just get the right position, then press the Windows key, and then you can connect everything with each other. It's a little bit troublesome, but somehow I liked the more or less how I did that, or how I found out about that. And then it's pretty easy to overcome the problem, more or less. Okay, and I think I messed up already, but we will see. So, next one. Let's go with this. Okay, green is connected. Now let's see if we can connect the yellow ones here. That's all easy and nice, but I will show you what I meant by that I messed up in a couple of seconds. Because there's a big problem. That one should be fine too. Oops. Nope. That's a bad thing too. If you want to get rid of it, you can click on it, but the problem is it's not going to be in a timely fashion. So in the end, you have only a couple of seconds to do something. I'm not sure what the real lose conditions in this game are. So in some situations, it's just going to tell you, sorry, did take too long or whatever, you're on the right track, just hang on. So there's no real timer telling you what's going on, if that is a problem. I'm not sure what the problem is, but you can be fast enough to do everything here, but you really have to, more or less make it happen. For instance, we are going to select those. Okay, that's fine. Now select a connection part there. That's connected too. Next one. Let's try. Oops. So there we go. Let's try to connect those. Now let's try to connect those two. Okay, worked. Let's see what we can achieve here. We have to go over here, as you can see. So first off, click on this one, and now, no, again. And again, many of those obstacles I'm having to overcome here are not present if you are going to play this with a smartphone in a touch mode. It's only there because more or less we are using it in Continuum mode in this case, and that's a little bit of a problem here. But whatever, you can overcome it with this little hack, as you can see. Let's see if we can connect everything in time. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try to. This time around we are pretty close at least. Okay. And that might be the last one we have to do. Let's see if it's the case. And now the blue one. Did we solve it? Yes, we did solve it. So as you can see, you can play this game. It's a little bit troublesome, as you can see, because you really have to go through this hoop here. So pressing your Windows key on your keyboard, if you have one connected, will solve it for you. But it's really a little bit troublesome to play this game. But in the end, I like the game itself for what it is and what it does. And so you might want to try it out. Okay, so let's have a look at the second game. There are going to be different kind of difficulty levels and stuff like that, but we are not going to go into that too deep. As mentioned before, if you are playing it on your smartphone with a touch display, it's not going to be a problem because your finger is not going to be followed all the time. So if you are pressing on something, everything is fine. If you are swiping around, the cube is going to be turned around and stuff like that, so everything would be fine there too. So pressing, holding it and going to one of the directions and stuff should work, and this one should work too. But in case of the mouse movement, that's a little bit troublesome there, so you will have to use this little hack, so press your Windows key to get everything working. Okay, so let's have a look at a game that doesn't have any kind of problem like that. So that one is called Maze King. Maze King is a little game where you are going to have to go through mazes more or less. And like I don't know, the paper mazes or something you are very accustomed to probably. This one is going to help you too in this case, and yeah, it's more or less exactly what you would expect it to be. Interesting part about it is there are a couple of different other modes which are going to be accessible after a while. So one of them is, for instance, that you have a maze where you are going to have to run from enemies and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different than you may be accustomed to. So let's see what we can do here and what this game is all about. So first off, as you can see, there are a couple of different options, not much. You can just turn off the music or turn it on. You can remove ads because sometimes there's going to be an ad in there, and you can buy stuff. I'm not even sure what that is. As you can see, here are the different masses or modi that you can use, so the modes. In this case, a classic mode, enemies mode, and darkness and the other ones are not yet available for me. So let's play the classic one first, just to show you. As you can see, there are a couple of different mazes available, or many if you have a look at that. And those are going to just be mazes like you already know from childhood or from the paper ones. As you can see, what you are going to do here is you're going to swipe around more or less to bring your maze or your point to the maze you want to. So you're not going to drag all the way like in the paper versions, but you should have an idea where you want to go. And after that, just swipe once, so pressing and holding the mouse button is swiping in this case, of course. Okay, that was the wrong one. So we are going down here, and the moment there is a new possible direction change with several different options, you're going to be asked again. So we're not going to go down in this case, but to the right, of course. And as you can see, we are going to go in this case up here. Oops. And up here, and there we go. So this was more or less a maze. As you can see, sometimes there's going to be some kind of a advertisement like this here. So as you can see, we have to wait 20 seconds in this case to go to the next part there. "12 seconds, 10 seconds. And after that, we can go on. Let's see what's going to be happening here. There we go. And yeah, now you can just go to the next game here, and you are going to get some kind of presents, and of course you're going to collect those light bulbs there. Light bulbs are more or less currency in this game, whatever. As you can see, we can't go this way around, so we have to go this way up. So left is the right version here, or the right way. Left is the right way. Fun. Whatever. Here we have to go down, and now we have to go to the right side, and here we go down again to the right, and we are there. Okay, so this is more or less what the classic mode is all about. You're going to try to go to the point where you have to go to, of course, so the aim is marked there. And like that you can play this for a long time, or let's have a look at the hint here. As you can see, you can more or less collect the hints you should go to. It's not really necessary in this case, so we are not going to go on like this. I'm going to go to home in this case, and I'm going to show you the enemy version, because those two I can already show you. There are more like that available, as you can see, but you have to play the others to get them more or less freely available. So let's have a look at the first one. Enemy mode is pretty hard and not even all the time very fair. As you can see, we are now more or less haunted or hunted by this little ghost-like monster, whatever, and if he is going to catch you, you are going to die. It's not about your way you are going to die, or the path you are going to take, but about your own little point, whatever that is called, to go on there. As you can see, we have a couple of different advertisements here, but it's okay. It's because the game itself is not going to suffer from the advertisement, and that at least is something. And so let's have a look if this is going to be ready. Now we are through it. We can have a look at the next level here. And there we go again. So first off, you really... Okay, he's going to catch me. No. Ooh, that was more or less luck that he didn't hunt me there. Sometimes it's really hard to get rid of the enemy because he's going to hunt you, or at least he's going to take a route where you don't have any kind of options to avoid him. And then you are, of course, more or less dying. As you can see, we got 3 more light bulbs, so in this case tips more or less to work with. Yeah, and this is more or less what the game is all about, so be careful of the enemies, be fast. Woo. Don't you dare. Okay, can I get... You can see it's a little bit hard for me to avoid those guys now. Come on. Back. Yeah. Have to... Damn. Okay, now they are both in that part and I can go up. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, this is much harder to do. And because of the different enemies which are going to try to hunt you down, and if they get to you, you're going to have to start over again. He's going to follow me around. Okay. This was more or less, come on, luck in this case. I have played this a couple of times where they really got me in the first turn I did and stuff like that. But seems to be okay like this. And as you can see, so you're going to play the whole game through. It's pretty fun for just going to have to get rid of some time and somewhere. So it's a casual game, of course. And you don't have to stay with it or something. It's really a nice little one. Just try it out. There is a little bit of advertisement, as you can see, but it's not as hardcore as other times I have played games. Last time around, I think, was a really, really bad one. But whatever. And yeah, this is more or less a game. Try it out if you like this kind of games. Other than that, I'm going to go out of this game now, and we are going to have a look at the last game. I'm going to put that in those little emphasizes there, because Phys 2 is more or less, yeah, some kind of a physics questionary learning application, whatever you want to call it. So let's have a look at that. It's not even the easiest, so it's really sometimes a little bit hard, and I would say that children of too small age are not able to solve this. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to go to this, going on here, and now I'm going to put in the name of the game, which is of course Phys 2. There we are. So in the end, this is a little bit of a game where you are going to solve different physics tasks and stuff like that, and we are really talking about something with a little bit of a formula and stuff like that. So if you're totally against that or something, you don't want to play this game. But it's nicely done, if you ask me, and somehow it's a little bit fun to play it too. And of course, if you like some kind of physics or something, then this is a game for you. I'm going to turn around and have a look at you, with you at that. Problem is, I haven't had physics in school for quite some time now, so we are talking about a decade or something, I'm not sure. Maybe not a decade, but close to it. And because of that, it's a little bit hard to do it for me, because I'm really no longer into this kind of tasks and stuff like that. But after a while you're going to get accustomed again to this kind of tasks, and then it's going to be solvable. I'm going to show you what this game is all about. We are not going to play too many of those different tasks or something. I'm just going to show you the first one here. And yeah, so first off, let's go into there. As you can see, it's nicely seen. There's this little guy here, which is going to be in your game all the time. And those are all different kind of physics parts where you're going to have to more or less calculate forces and stuff like that with this, the help of this application or this game, learning app, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one. Just select it there. And we are going to go into this. And as you can see, it's more or less physics tasks you're going to have to solve here. So first off, the jumper fontaine is applying a force of 386 Newton at an angle. If gravity still has an effect, what are the components of the net force acting on you? So you are really going to have to solve physics problems here. And as you can see, these are the possible options you have in this game. And one of those is, of course, as you can see, we have, of course, as always, as they tell you here, that the gravity force is still in effect. Fg, for force gravity more or less, is going to be in effect here. So I would say gravity always drags you down, so I'm going to put it here. And in the end, what you can see here is more or less, this is a small part where this is going to be replacement for. And like that, as you can see, we have a booster that is going to more or less push him up there. So something like an acceleration. Accelerations are force accelerated or something like that. So it's going up there. And there's of course some kind of an angle on it, as he is going to tell you. And the angle seems to be to the left here a little bit. So it's of course up and to the left in this case. I'm not sure what happens if I put it there. Maybe it's the same, I'm not sure, let's see. Yeah, it would be the same. We have to reset to re-accelerate it, but in the end it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be the same, that's fine. And this is more or less what is going to happen here. There's one big trouble I see, because those little infos here, the buttons we are seeing here, are not going to help you in any kind of way. They are in most cases pretty much in your face and will cover stuff up. You can always play it, because you can of course select something down here below too and stuff like that, but it's a little bit, yeah, not that great to have it there. But okay, so if you are ready and you think that this should be the thing you should apply to this one, or better to say the forces that apply on him, then you are going to click submit. And as you can see, that was okay, and we are going to the next version here. And as you can see here, we can switch between the situation and this kind of information diagram or whatever. And now you are really going to try to do some kind of a formula here. So first off, F next net x, so the force on the x-axis, which is a little bit unhelpful that there is no kind of information here where the x-axis are going. If you're going to go to the force, you can see that. So going to the right is the positive input. Going to up is the y positive input. X positive input and F positive input, so up and left. So like a normal coordinate system. And now we have to calculate this part here. So what is going to be happening here? First off, we need some kind of a net part. And the net y part, of course, is forced by Fg. But in this case, since we are not going up, but we are going down, we have to switch off that to a minus. So this should be the part where it's going to be downwards. And the other one is, of course, net x at the start there. Okay, so because this is going in this direction, we have to minus this too. But of course, as you can see, there is more or less this force which is going to go up here too. So we have to add something there, and that will be Fh acceleration. So any kind of other force that is going to be up straight up. And so we have an up part and we have a down part in this case, which is the fnet y in this case. And then you will have fnet x, which is only one force, so this should be the solution. If I click on that, as you can see, it was solved. And now you really have to calculate the different parts. And as you can see, there are a couple of different formulas already available for us now. And we will have to work with those to get real life things out of it. So you're not going to calculate really, but you have to drag and drop different kind of parts to the different definitions in your formulas. And then you will have to solve the formulas all together. So first off, as you can see, we have, for instance, this part. If you click on it, you're going to get an information what this should represent. And in this case, this is the gravity force, or the gravity field strength, more or less. So we have to put that on G. So just drag and drop it to G. In this case, you're not going to get any kind of information if that is right at start at least. So you will have to wait a little bit till you submit everything. So next part is, of course, we need the mass of our body. This is a little bit hard to obtain, if you ask me, because who should know that it's at this point if everything else is more or less already there. But doesn't matter, this is more or less a part, and now we can solve this and get the, more or less the calculated part there. And the good thing is, as you can see, there are a couple of different colors available in this case, and so we are going to be able to, for instance, drag this up and already know what's going on there. Okay, next one is FA. FA is more or less the force with which this is going to be ported up there, so we are going to put it there. And now, of course, we need the angle there with, in this case, a cosinus. Cosinus, don't know what that is pronounced in English, if I'm honest. And this is this part, and then you will have to switch off and go with the sinus part, so the sinus of the same stuff, to more or less get the different kind of options here. And if we do that, we have another one. Okay, and like that, we get AX and AJ in this case, or AY, sorry, it's Y, right? Right. And so we can now put everything in the different departments here. Go back to this, get this and put it there. As you can see, we can calculate that and we can calculate that. And now your resolution or your solution you are going to find has to be put down here. So X answer, let's have a look what this is. It's already shown there again. So this is net force X. We have to put it here. And then we will have the net force Y in this case. And we can put it here. Okay, and the last thing you have to do is tell us where the different forces are going to be. So is it bigger on one of the sides or bigger on one of the axes here, or isn't it? And in this case, it's going to be bigger, of course, because he's going to thrust in this case. And of course, since the gravity has to be overcome in this case, you can see that already here. So we have a force of 78.3 in this case at this point. And we have a force of, was it this one? No. Y. It's this one, more or less. You can, no, Y, sorry, this one. You can already see that it's going to be left and up, of course. Otherwise, it's not working out, and he's going to stay on the ground more or less, and that's not what we want. So let's put that to up. Again, there's this overlay which is a little bit interrupting us here, but doesn't matter, or interfering with our view here. But it really doesn't matter because you just have to press on the arrows for a couple of times to get the right arrow direction, and then just submit it, and we got this one. And we completed this with more or less a task we accomplished, and we are going to get some kind of a reward for that. And yeah, this is more or less what this game is all about. And there are a couple of, many different puzzles here. So if I go to the next one, of course, we are going to have the next part. And this is just another one where you will have to have a look at where we are going to, what kind of forces are going to be applied, and so on and so forth. as you can see, it's a pretty physics-heavy game. First time I played it, I had a little bit of a hard time to figure everything out, so where to place everything and where to get the different values from and stuff like that, and that it's at all some kind of game in this end. This is more or less the fun definition, and there are a couple of different other modes available. I'm not even sure how I go back. Can I go back like that? No. That's more or less a task you're going to have to solve in this case, so diagram the different options here. As you can see, there are a couple of different forces available, but how do I get back? Ah, that one. Okay, so press on the profile image, and I'm going to go to the level selection, and maybe after that even one step further back. Yeah, there we are. Press on the menu again, and as you can see, there are a couple of different options available. For instance, you can do the adventure mode or the non-adventure mode. I would do the adventure mode. That's much more fun, because then you are going to be accompanied by him, and he's going to be the part or the guy who is going to tell you. In the end, this game is, of course, yeah, pretty hardcore if you ask me, so don't give it to some child which is only 3 years old or something. It's not going to happen that that child is going to be able to work this out. And maybe you shouldn't give your 3-year-old or your 3 years old child any kind of smartphone game if you ask me, but whatever. And yeah, in the end, as you can see, there are a couple of different options here, and you can go with the adventure modus, which is much more fun. Do that one. And yeah, after a while you're going to be able to get different kind of characters, which will have a couple of different options. For instance, lots of life and little attack and stuff like that. For what is that? And why are there attack levels and stuff like that? I don't know. So just try it out. You have to go further and further to get all the information out there. I think the adventure mode is going to give you a couple of different other options there too. So something like attack and stuff like that should be able to get you around. And it's more or less about the achievements, I think, that you're going to get there. Yeah, and other than that, I would say have fun with it. I think it's a nice little game. I'm not sure if everybody who is a child wants to play it, but I found it pretty interesting to play, and so I wanted to show it to you. And then I would say thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you liked this episode, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't subscribe till now, this is the time to do it now. Other than that, if you have any kind of comments, questions, whatever, put them down in the commentary section below. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. We are going to see us in the next episode, probably next week. And other than that, thanks and have a great day. Bye. Bye.